and welcome to another episode of Toonami Pre-Flight. We are your hosts, Jason DeMarco and
Gil Austin.
And I believe this is episode 19?
I believe it's 18.
Yes, it's 18. So episode 18, for those of you who've been watching since the beginning, you have sat through 18 hours of Gil and I talking.
Probably more than.
You probably deserve a medal,
yes.
I would say. We're not going to give you one.
Send a self-addressed stamped envelope to...
You deserve a medal, but we're not going to give you one. Today's episode, we're trying a little something different. We are still going to keep the show focused in general on animation.
But we are not wearing pants.
But that's every episode. But we are going to, this time, be talking about our favorite sci-fi movies and not just limiting it to the category of animation, because we feel like sci-fi is something Toonami has. We've shown a ton of sci-fi programming, so it feels like a good wheelhouse for us. So let us know what you think about this topic, and feel free to suggest others at our Facebook page. In the meantime, I thought in the realm of science fiction, we could talk about an older Toonami show from, I believe we aired it in 2000, so 15
Correct.
years ago, the miniseries Blue Sub 6. Blue Submarine Number 6 is the full title.
Which I did not have any memory that the story itself was so old, that the manga predated the anime by such a insanely long period of time.
I knew it was based on a manga, but I did not know that the Blue Sub manga premiered in the late 60s.
Yeah, older than us, and that the anime is now 15 years old. So.
But I guess, there are some concepts in there that I think, like there's definitely some Island of Dr. Moreau elements in there that I think definitely harken back to sort of old school sci-fi of like, what if you could cross hybrid races and create new creatures, and then obviously in later years everybody figured out that's a lot harder. but it seemed like something that might be theoretically plausible, in the 60s, and maybe in another 30 years it will be theoretically
cat dog
plausible. But we were brought this show by our friends at Bandai, and I recall Sean Ankins, who was running Toonami at the time, and Mike Lazo, who currently runs Adult Swim, both saw, I believe they only showed us like some footage in Japanese. We didn't even see the whole thing, and they told us.
It wasn't a trailer, it was just a scene or a collection of scenes, I guess.
Yeah, and we, at the time, Blue Submarine 6 is a show that is sort of one of the very first examples of CG and 2D hybrid, and it a lot of it doesn't hold up now. The designs hold up, but the CG is a little rough. But at the time it was totally cutting edge, and we were really excited about just the possibilities. So I think what we should do is we should show our promo from back in the day to give you guys just an overview of what the show's about. Then we'll talk about it a little more, and then maybe get into a scene.
In the near future, one man is despised above all others.
The world will not be destroyed. It will merely change.
A brilliant scientist who decided humanity wasn't worthy of inheriting the Earth.
Mankind has grown too large. So need you.
When the tide rolled in, no one knew it would be forever.
I do not accept this world. To it, I shall always say no.
Now, the remaining land dwellers wage war against the hordes of Zorndike's creation for the right to survive. The future of mankind rests with the crew of Blue Submarine Number 6.
This is it! We fight to the death!
Toonami is proud to present the future of anime in a 4-part miniseries.
World of endless blue.
Blue Submarine Number 6 premieres Monday, November 6th at 6. Only Toonami.
Some strong numerology.
Yeah, 666, baby. That was conscious just as a joke, not an Illuminati thing.
Or was it?
I do remember a funny story behind the scenes of making that promo. At the time, one of the editors who made promos with us was named Michael Cahill, and he now runs the Adult Swim Bumps team, so he still works for Adult Swim and creates all of those amazing weekly Adult Swim Bumps. He was an original Toonami editor and worked with us for a number of years. This was one of the last promos he did before transitioning full-time to Adult Swim, and he worked on it with another writer of ours, Dennis Maloney, and they had a huge argument about this promo, and I don't remember even what it was over, but it was just a hilarious argument that these two guys had over like literal frames, and so that was, I believe, the last promo they cut together. They're still friends, but it's just a funny. Every time I see this promo, I think of those two guys arguing, because it was the office literally next door, so I got to hear the whole argument.
Yeah, the two immovable objects and also both unstoppable forces.
Yeah. But yeah, at the time, like I said, it was pretty cutting edge, and we were really excited about it. We ran it 4 nights in a row as just a mini-series. I believe we did run it a second time, and it did well. It didn't, like, light anything on fire. The Wikipedia entry for the show says it was mixed to negative reviews for both the manga and the series.
I can't speak for the manga, but we certainly... I mean, it wasn't like, oh, what have we possibly done? We've ruined all of our...
submarine combat forever.
Like, it just was... I mean, it was a 4-part OVA that didn't catch fire, but certainly didn't, like...
Yeah, I mean, it didn't
drive people away.
You know, it didn't lead to another series, so clearly it wasn't a giant hit either in Japan or in the U.S., but I still think it's a cool example of...
It's basically a movie that is cut into 4 pieces.
Yeah.
That's probably, if it had shown as one day as a movie, probably would have done better, because you kind of want to see where else it goes, and it doesn't go anywhere.
I mean, the story is a good piece of science fiction. It's basically that Zorndike is this scientist, and he has caused basically the Earth to be flooded. He's killed billions of people, and he's created this race of...
Allegedly.
This race of hybrid fish creatures who then attack every remaining human city. And the series follows the crew of the Blue Submarine No. 6, which is one of the last, war subs fighting against Zorndike's army. And it ends up getting to a place much more like... watching it now is hilarious to me that we put that on TV in front of 6 to 11-year-olds, because it's like it ends in a super philosophical sort of... The final episode is basically them talking to Zorndike about whether or not humanity...
right?
Whether or not humanity deserves to live on the Earth, and him trying to say... humanity was out of control. I just reversed the process, and maybe you guys can learn to live together. And it's like some really deep concepts for 6-year-olds. But I'm still happy we got to show it. We did have to edit it a bit, because I remember the mermaid creatures have boobies, like they show their nipples. So we had to do a little digital paint. And I believe... there was a less edited version of this we ran for the Midnight Run, but I could be wrong, I'm sure.
It was Black Blood Back to Red, I think was what the Midnight Run one was.
Because we had to turn the
boobies
blood.
Are still frowned upon.
Yeah.
To this day.
So actually, why don't we show... this is actually available to stream on Hulu.
Yes.
And
looks good.
There was, I believe, a Discotheque Blu-ray release a couple years back, so you can still check it out. And it looks really good for its age. For a 2000 anime, it looks great. It kind of... to some degree, there are negative aspects to this look, but to some degree it heralded the digital look that would become bigger in anime, especially in the late 2000s, and the hybridizing of CG and 2D. And while I don't think the CG holds up very well, the designs are awesome, and, good design never fades. So just check out, this is a scene from the first episode that I thought was a good representation of the show.
You back, Mr. Hayami? We'll be launching soon. Get in the back.
I'm staying right here.
What? You're crazy. You can't handle this. This Grampus is a high-performance machine. Are you listening to me?
We've got chamber flood in 1 minute. Let's get that thing buttoned up.
Roger, standing by.
So, tell me, why did you come to save us?
Tell me.
What?
Why do you try so hard?
Because it's my city, that's why. My home is on the bottom of the sea now.
Three Kumos, dead ahead! Fire now!
Moving out!
Good luck, Kino.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, so that was directed by Mahiro Maeda, who he's been an animation director and in the animation department for like countless things from Kill Bill to Evangelion. He's also directed some episodes of Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. Like he's a pretty great animation director, and that just shows you sort of the hybrid CG 2D thing and gives you a little feel for like how the dynamics between the two main characters work.
The trying and the not trying schools of thought.
But I think, and definitely an early 2000s kind of dub, but but like I would say it's definitely still worth watching and holds up as a science fiction story. And like you said, it's a good like 2-hour movie, basically. So Blue Sub 6. You're not likely to see it on Toonami again, but we're happy we ran it, so hopefully you guys will check it out if you haven't seen it. And I think we can move on to our main topic of the day.
Our question of the week.
Fine. Question of the week.
Which wasn't correct, it was just elaborating.
Which is, what's your favorite sci-fi movie?
So, in the interest of narrowing it down to just one, Jason and I have picked 10 each.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to go through six individual movies with clips and then have a catch-all 4.
This is going to be a long one, so settle in, because when you ask me to pick my favorite sci-fi movie, or when I ask me, Jason,
Self,
what's your favorite sci-fi movie? There's no way. Even narrowing it down to 10 was almost impossible.
Yeah, and still includes and obviously we're not listing this and this and this, and
but
lumping multiple movies together.
But I think I'll start, if that's okay with you.
That's fine with me.
And I'm just going to jump right in. So for me, the number one science fiction movie of all time will always be Blade Runner. What
about future sci-fi movies? You're not giving them a chance?
I don't know that they'll be as good as Blade Runner. I saw Blade Runner in the theater in 1984 when it came out, or 2 when it came out. So I saw that with my grandma. And I did. Saw it with my grandma, and she...
Graham, can we go see Blade Runner?
And I was 11, and she took me to see it, even though it was rated R. And we just knew Han Solo was in it. That was like literally all I knew, is they had spaceships and it was Han Solo, and I was like, yeah. And then there was nudity and people getting brutally killed, and it was really sad. Yeah, and my grandmother was like, that was the worst movie I've ever seen. And as an 11-year-old, I distinctly remember feeling totally let down. Like, oh, that was so lame. Like, I just didn't. And then fast forward to when I was 14, and it came on HBO one night, and I had a little TV in my room and was staying up too late. And I saw it again, and it was like a revelation. I was like, what? I thought this wasn't good. Boy, I'm stupid. And then since then, it's been sort of a hugely influential movie for me. Also happens to be a hugely influential movie for particularly anime and for Japanese sci-fi in general. There's a heavy Asian influence in all of the design in the post.
That dystopian world of
future LA.
Yeah.
And I think that Blade Runner was so far ahead of its time that it took things a while to catch up, and it's just one of those movies that, even the effects hold up, and for a movie from 1982, that's pretty incredible. They're all practical effects. The movie was a brutal shoot. They shot at night for 6 months in the rain. Harrison Ford said it was one of the most miserable shoots he's ever been on, and that's a miserable dude. So if he remembers being particularly miserable at a particularly miserable time, you can imagine it wasn't a fun shoot. The director, Ridley Scott, had done Alien, and he basically cashed in all of his cachet that he got from doing Alien and spent it on Blade Runner. So if you haven't seen it, see it. I'm going to show you guys a scene from the movie that is Deckard, the main character, retiring a replicant, who are the basically genetically modified
skin jobs
people that he hunts in this film. And again, just check this film out atmosphere-wise. It is one of the most influential science fiction movies of all time. Like so much anime takes its influence from Blade Runner. So check it out.
So, what do you mean I'm not helping?
So, again, atmosphere-wise, also the soundtrack from Vangelis, but in the 80s there was a ton of, like, Blade Runner-influenced anime, like Tank Police and all kinds of other stuff that was clearly, like, the lineage of that movie. So for me, that's always going to be number one.
Are you ordering the rest of yours, or is that number one and now it's a 9-way tie?
I would say it's number one and number two, and then an 8-way tie for number three. So number two is not really going to be a surprise to anyone. 2001: Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick's 1969 masterpiece, which again also really holds up special effects wise for being 1969. It's pretty incredible. And a lot of that has to do with the care in which he made the film, and the consulting he did with NASA experts and Douglas Trumbull, who did the effects. For me, this is weird because I didn't connect with this movie. I just thought it was too slow and weird. I was raised on Star Wars and Star Trek, and for me, it took me a long time to connect with this film, and it probably wasn't until my 30s that I saw it again and was like, oh, and started really.
Yeah, I mean, it is super slow. So, like, as a kid, you're like, come on, this is supposed to be in space.
Yeah, I mean, as far as science fiction goes, the story holds up very well as just speculative fiction about, basically that aliens gave us our spark that allowed us to be intelligent beings, and that eventually they come back to basically reclaim, worlds in our solar system.
But not Io.
But no, Io is the world that they reclaim. But for me, it was hard to get into as a younger person. And then as an older person, I really fell deep, and really fell in love with it. And I love the abstract qualities of it. And I do think of all the science fiction films I've seen, it's the most truly cosmic feeling. It really feels like they tapped into the awe of the vastness of space and the possibilities that might be out there in a way that almost no other movie has. It's like right on the edge of fear of like the unknown, but also sort of, just being excited about it too. I mean, truly awe is the feeling, I think.
Yeah, I mean, especially
sure?
that time. Like where are we going to go? Space exploration, like late 60s, like what, maybe this isn't what we should be doing.
Yeah, true. And then, around that time was when the space race was happening, and this was like, people were thinking about like this could be a real possibility. Now we haven't been to the moon since then, which is sad. So yeah, I can't ever not choose 2001. I've watched it many times since. So let's show the trailer for 2001 from the re-release that just came out a while back.
me your answer to. I am crazy, all for the love of you.
The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. We are all foolproof and incapable of error.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
Yeah, I mean, so many seemingly tropes just come from that movie that you wouldn't even... If you've never seen that movie, you wouldn't know, like, just...
Yeah, how many things come from that movie.
Zarathustra, like, to...
The music is a huge part of that. The abstract music from Berlioz and Strauss, and just that he used all classical. The atonal music he used definitely unsettles you as a viewer. But, yeah, so, Big Shock, 2001, great movie. Moving on...
ringing endorsement to go out on.
My next one is one I've talked about a bunch, so we're just going to show our trailer. So it's Akira, which not only as an animated film, as one of the best animated films of all time, and as an anime, but just as a science fiction story. You know, the knock on Akira from people who actually don't watch anime or don't care about animation is that the story makes no sense, which I don't get. The story makes total sense to me. It's pretty clearly laid out in the film. I just think that this film has so much going on visually that I think some people sort of short circuit when it's time to absorb the plot.
I think it's more that people are waiting for, it's like, who is Akira? Like, it's you...
Waiting for more of a reveal.
Yeah, like, it's like, it ends and people, I don't know, I think people are just too tied up in, is he the return of Akira? Isn't he, like, people just
Tetsuo,
just get confused.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, the manga, which is one of the greatest manga that's ever, been created, is 6 long volumes that tells way more of the story in way more detail, and this film is a hyper-condensed version of that, but I still think it makes sense, and as a science fiction film, it's one of the best, and again, one of the most influential films. Now, Akira, like Blade Runner, influenced a ton of anime, but Akira influenced a ton of live-action film, and Akira is something that continues to echo through even guys like Kanye West, or Daft Punk, or even modern filmmakers take a lot of cues from Akira, certainly the Wachowskis. Akira is one of those movies that's just such an achievement that it reaches into other genres and influences them. So
those of you who don't like Akira, you're stupid.
And again, we've shown this 8 billion times, and we're going to show it again. Here's our trailer for Akira, which is cut by Sarah, and one of my favorite pieces we've done. So yeah, Sarah didn't cut that. That's actually a scene from the movie. I forgot that we chose the scene and not the same trailer we've already shown, which is probably for the best. So yeah, not really much more to be said there, Akira. So moving on, my next choice, favorite science fiction films is Alien, also a Ridley Scott film. And, I mean, again, a movie that's hugely influential. You know, something all these movies have in common that I'm noticing is they all have amazing music. You know, we've had Vangelis, we've had, you know, Strauss, and then Akira has all that atonal, you know, classic Japanese music, and now Alien has this crazy sort of atonal score too. All of that just keeps you on your toes. Alien is not really Scott's first movie, but it was his first big movie. He worked with the artist H.R. Geiger. I never know how to pronounce his name, but I love his work. And again, this ended up being one of the more copied movies of the 80s because it was either Jaws in a blank or Alien in a blank, right. Or Die Hard in a blank. Those were the three things everyone copied. So I don't really need to talk much about Alien. I think everybody knows this movie, but I do want to highlight
Die Hard in Space.
I do want to highlight the trailer, which is one of the best trailers ever made and is a highly influential trailer. Even now, people are doing sort of what they did in this trailer in 1979, which is they shot a bunch of stuff that wasn't from the movie, and then going completely against the way people cut trailers back then, they cut this trailer that's just images and music to give you a feel for the movie and have no voiceover, which now is the norm. But back then, it was a radical departure for how you present a film. Back then, voiceover explained the movie to you, so you know, in a over-the-top fashion. So it would be like Sigourney Weaver in A Tale of Whatever. And this thing went completely against all that and just made a 2-minute tone poem that, like, is highly unsettling and feels like the movie. And again, it has that tagline that's one of the best taglines ever written, which is "In space, no one can hear you scream."
Stealing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a damn good tagline. So yeah, I just wanted to show this trailer just because not only is the film ahead of its time, but the trailer is one of the best trailers ever made and was ahead of its time as well. So check this out and see if you can't see how modern trailers sort of have come around to this old trailer.
Terrifying.
Pretty awesome, and they never show the alien even slightly. And again, much like modern trailers, it's a repeated sound, that alarm sound. But pretty brilliant trailer. So nice work, whatever ad agency guy cut that. Or maybe it was Ridley. He used to work in commercials before he directed film. So my next choice is a more modern movie because I didn't want to just pick all the old classic films. So I wanted to talk about Upstream Color, which is one of my favorite science fiction films of the last 5 years. This was directed, written, shot, edited, and scored, and acted by a guy named Shane Carruth, who it took him 6 years to make the movie, I believe. He also did the film Primer, which is another great science fiction time travel film. He did this whole movie himself, self-funded it, and self-released it. I think he lives in Austin. But anyway, it's a really good science fiction / romance. It's a movie that sort of you have to watch a couple times to really figure out what's going on because it doesn't hold your hand at all. There's definitely a story and it definitely makes sense, but you have to definitely pay attention. You have to pay attention, yeah. So he also cut the trailers, and it turns out he's a really good trailer editor.
Very talented. Multi-talented.
Too talented. Just give it a rest, Shane. Do something worse. Did you see the film?
Yeah.
Did you like it as well?
Yeah, I did. I like it.
So I thought we would just show the trailer for those of you who hadn't heard of this film, but if you... it's available pretty much on every streaming platform, everywhere, so do try to check it out if you like science fiction. Here's the trailer.
Do you know this place?
I want to say yes.
Go in there, just go in there.
For you. I want to.
I haven't slept at all.
Is there a direction that you feel drawn?
I'm going to go wherever you go. You know that. You're scaring me a little bit.
I feel like you know.
Won't let anyone near them. This crowd back in the corner. Violent. I've never seen the parents behave so.
They can get very protective.
The water before you is somehow special. It is better than anything you've ever tasted. Each drink is better than the last. Take a drink now.
So yeah, good trailer.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's somewhat about mind control grubs that come from the bodies of pigs. So that's about as much as I can tell you. And then my final choice that I'll show something from is actually my favorite film from last year, Under the Skin, starring Scarlett Johansson as an alien sent down to Earth to basically harvest human bodies and send those remains back to her, other people of her race. So she's basically somewhat of a serial killer. Like, she drives around and entices men and then captures them and then harvests their bodies. And then she finds herself identifying with humanity. So honestly, when you lay it out like that, it sounds like it could be a really disastrously crappy Hollywood movie where like her humanity comes through. But Jonathan Glazer, who directed this, he did do commercial work, and then he moved into he's been doing film for a while. He did that film Birth with Nicole Kidman that was really good. But this is like next level for him. This is like true heir to Kubrick type stuff. And again, this is another film that doesn't really hold your hand at all, but really they do a really good job of unsettling you and making you feel like you're watching something that isn't human. So if you haven't seen Under the Skin, check it out. And here is the trailer for that film, just to give you an idea of the feel for it.
So you're the clone?
Yes.
Think I'm pretty?
I know Walters.
Come to me. When was the last time you touched someone? You don't want to wake up, do you?
Yeah, super creepy.
In the background.
So, did you saw?
Yeah. I liked it, but it's
you won't
unsettling.
be watching it again.
No,
Gil's not made of very stern stuff.
It's
guys.
true.
So that's it for me, and then my other four that round out my top 10. We'll just do a one page. Which, I mean, come on, Star Wars. Really, my favorite of the Star Wars films is Empire, but we'll just say Star Wars, The Matrix, WALL-E, and Close Encounters. That's sort of my picks. I could replace them with any number of others, like The Road Warrior, all kinds of stuff. But for me, that's my top 10, and I think it's now time to turn it over to you.
Nice. So my first of, not in any particular order, is the sequel to Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you had HBO when Aliens came on HBO, you've seen 7,000 times.
Yeah.
And I saw Aliens before I saw Alien, but not that much before. My dad was like, oh, if you like this movie, you should see this other movie. And I was still probably a little too young to really appreciate Alien at that point, and now love it. But Aliens was very seminal in my childhood and youth, and we have, I think, the trailer for this. We were bouncing back and forth between trailers and scenes, but I think that this is the trailer, which is also great for Aliens, so we can check it out.
You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan.
All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! You on the ready line, Marine? Get something to die! Get on the ready line!
Get your light up here.
Keep back, don't scare.
Movement! Talk to me, Hudson!
I got signals. I got readings in front and behind. There's nothing back here. Look, I'm telling you, there's something moving and it ain't us.
Get them out of there!
How could they cut the power, man? They're animals. There's movement all over the place. 5 meters, man. 4.
Aliens. This time, it's war.
Terrible VO.
Trailer's nowhere near as good as the trailer for Alien.
But it's...
this time, it's Barzana.
They just decided to go with the scratch track in the final
mix,
but
Alien's also a classic. I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, so many hilarious lines, so much great action.
It's
cool
no
story.
Alien. Let me be clear.
That's fair.
But it's really good.
But Alien is no Aliens either. Flipped it on you.
I guess.
So yeah, Aliens, I like all of the Alien movies.
I don't like Alien Resurrection, I think, or the Alien versus Predator films.
I don't consider that an Alien movie, but
they have aliens in them.
Of the canon,
the first three I think are
Aliens
all great.
versus Predators just filler arc. I don't
the first three are great. I hate Alien Resurrection. I think it's junk.
Yeah, it's probably
Winona Ryder kind of feel bad for the alien stuff. Like, it was just terrible.
But yeah. Watch the first two. Third, some people are split on.
Coin.
I really like it. Fourth, if you miss it, it's really not that big a deal. Aliens vs. Predators, piece of shit. Don't worry about that. Second on my list is Ghost in the Shell, which pretty much we're just done and moving on to number 3 now. But I saw this movie for the first time once I started working on Toonami. I did not see... I guess it came out in the U.S. in 96. I didn't see it until more like 97 or 8 maybe. But
on video?
Yeah.
I saw it for the first time on video too.
Yeah. So pretty mind-blowingly insane, also wildly influential in both future anime as well as live action movies.
I mean, The Matrix wouldn't exist without Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Among others.
Yeah, exactly. So this is also the trailer for Ghost in the Shell, and we can check that out now.
Ghost in the Shell is the next generation of animated feature entertainment. The story centers around a life form that evolves from the internet, seeking asylum in a cybernetic human host. The semi-cybernetic team sent to counter this incredible situation are forced to question the meaning of their own lives while engaged in a non-stop action-packed fight against an unseen enemy.
Police! Everyone, hit the ground!
All your memories about your wife and your daughter are false and are more like a dream.
With production values exceeding the legendary Akira and a gripping storyline, this picture represents the leading edge in the new animated entertainment genre and marks a milestone in the future of feature-length animated filmmaking for young adult audiences.
Ghost in the Shell. Released theatrically worldwide, fall 1995.
95? That's earlier than that.
That's the worst
terrible.
trailer I've ever seen. A new animated experience.
Certainly terrible writing and voiceover performance in the
Don't let that trailer. But see, this is the world that Toonami was created in. This is what we had before Toonami. And now you have trailers that actually feel like trailers that we were one of the people that helped make that happen. So
you're welcome. We apologize for this broadcast.
You're welcome, and we apologize for reminding you of how bad it used to be when you wanted to check out an anime.
Yeah, you just had to force yourself to fight through. Like, I think I want to see this still, despite that bag of shit. So next on my list is T2 Judgment Day, which was also on steady repeat of. In my house. I think this was, if this wasn't the first Laserdisc my dad got, it was amongst the first. So
not Terminator 1. Terminator 2 you prefer to Terminator 1?
Yeah, I do. I think, as an action movie, I think it's probably more action-based, but
it's a better action movie for sure.
But in terms of like sci-fi world building, I don't know.
I much prefer the first Terminator, but I do like Judgment Day.
Yeah.
It's just
there's
pretty fun action movie.
It's more ups and downs, I think, in Judgment Day. Terminator is super solid all the way through, but there's not as much fun in it, and this is more of a fun movie.
Terminator's just meaner, yeah.
Yeah, so I just enjoy this movie more. I don't know that it's necessarily a better movie, and probably I actually do know that it's not a better movie, but I still do enjoy it more. So this is one of the more fun scenes from Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and if you haven't seen this movie, this really doesn't spoil anything other than the fact that there's some sweet stuff in it. So yeah, pretty sweet shotgun play and some stellar driving skills on point. But yeah, I like. I enjoy all the Terminator movies for the most part. I would think, is that true?
I didn't like the last one at all.
But certainly the first several, just like Aliens. Like if you have a bunch and you're watching them and you kind of peter out at the end, it's
first
totally
one,
fun.
2 or 3.
That's sort of how they make them too. So
I'll see the new one though, with the dumbest title of all time, Genesis. But I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, why would you not?
Yeah.
4 out of 5 ain't too bad. So next up on my list is Fury Road, the new Mad Max movie, which I like for lots of different reasons. That it feels very much like the Mad Max movies of yore, and also a really great update in pretty much every conceivable way.
Mm-hmm. George Miller, the man.
I had very guarded expectations leading up to this movie. I did not think that George Miller was going to be able to reach back into his past and pull out a sweet gem, and I could not have been
I felt
more
good
wrong.
about it. I felt good about it once I heard he was involved, because I knew he had been trying to make it forever, and he's never not been... I haven't always loved all his movies, like Happy Feet 1 and 2, but he's never not done stuff that came from his own brain. Like, he's definitely an auteur.
Right. I just was a little worried that the old manitis might have taken him over.
Manitis.
And that he wouldn't be able to work it out.
Yeah,
but
boy.
Pie on my face. Apologies, George Miller. Fury Road. So this is the first trailer for Fury Road that we're going to check out, and then we can talk a little bit more about it.
In this wasteland, I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. A man reduced to a single instinct. Survive.
by my hand. You will rise from the ashes of this world.
We are not things. We are not things.
Where is she taking them? I want them back! They're my property!
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Want to get through this?
Let's go!
As the world fell, each of us in our own way was broken. It was hard to know who was more crazy. Me or everyone else.
With that!
So great. So that probably was the second trailer right before.
I don't know what trailer that was. I never saw it. The first trailer, as our production crew pointed out, was like cut to some really bad version of a pop song, and I remember seeing that trailer and seeing the imagery and being like, oh, it looks like it'll be cool. This trailer's terrible, and then I didn't watch any more trailers.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I was avoiding them once I decided I was in, but the second that movie was over, I wanted to see it again, but unfortunately I had to go work. But
yeah, Mad Max, one of the great science fiction film characters, and one of the best, most influential dystopian realities presented on screen in the last 20 years. It's one that people always have referenced throughout our entire childhoods, throughout the entire 80s and 90s, and now probably it'll come back around.
Yeah, forever now.
Yeah.
And such a great update in terms of story and still maintaining the practical nature of how they shot the movie and just the total bananas nature of it all.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go to the theater now before it's out of the theaters.
Agreed.
Good choice, Gil.
Oh, thank you. Next up, second to last witness. Is Looper, which is potentially a movie that not a lot of people have seen, but probably
it wasn't a big hit.
Have seen. But I really, really like this movie. It's sort of hard to talk about without ruining it. So rather than showing the trailer for this, we're going to show a scene which is sort of fast forwarding the life. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the younger version of Bruce Willis, or Bruce Willis is the older version of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, however you want to say that, because time is a flat circle and it gets very confusing the more you start talking about it. But he's basically a hitman for the mob, and that's all you can really say. So, let's check out
time-traveling hitman. You can say that.
But he's not really time-traveling. So
I mean, there are... They time
travel exists.
Yeah.
And he stays in one time and kills people who come back in time to him.
The mob captures people and sends them to his time, and he has to kill them. He doesn't know who they are, and they are people from different timelines that the mob takes out in the future. It's the mob in the future, sending them back in time. It's very confusing, but it's a really good time. It's a really good time travel movie.
So this is sort of a potential timeline of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character that just sort of shows
once he retires.
So he's in the midst of being a looper at the beginning of this scene. So let's check it out. And that's the end of the movie. Everybody lives happily ever after. So
it's kind of like Up. It's like that sequence in Up. It's just showing you this guy's whole life.
But yeah, if you have not seen Looper, definitely check it out because it's a really great time travel movie, sci-fi movie. If you like either or both Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis, I think you will enjoy.
Probably got
Loopers.
Probably got the director Rian Johnson. It probably got him the Star Wars gig because he's directing one of the new Star Wars films, and it's certainly because of his work on Looper.
And not a small part that we played in that today by showing this in the podcast. So you're welcome. My final call-out movie is...
Oh, boy. Oh, I just got incepted.
Is Inception, and this is another sort of bananas crazy time travel movie that probably everyone has seen at this point. So
massive hit.
If you haven't, then
Get
you
off
certainly
your ass.
should. And yeah, you really are wasting your time here. But this is the trailer for Inception, which sort of informed probably every single trailer
for the next 2 years, and of any blockbuster.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, get the
sound. Yeah, what's our version of the Inception sound? I mean, yeah, if you want to see the evolution of modern trailers, Inception is one of the ones that this trailer and the use of that sound is what basically... I mean, this trailer was so successful and talked about that it created a whole sort of cotton industry for the next 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Of every movie trailer had to have the particular sound.
And then it went away for a little bit and then came back where it's like, oh, you know what we're really missing is... So this is that trailer, and then we can flash up a couple more movies and then move on with our day.
There's one thing you should know about me. I specialize in a very specific type of security. Subconscious security.
You're talking about dreams.
Mr. Cobb has a job offer he would like to discuss with you.
Like a work placement?
Not exactly.
We create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their secrets.
Then you break in and steal it.
Well, it's not strictly speaking legal. It's called Inception. Already. I think I found a way home.
And this last job, that's how I get there.
Dreams feel real while we're in them. It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange.
This is your responsibility. We're not prepared for this.
Dreams collapsing.
Have it under control. I'd hate to see out of control.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Hilarious.
Yeah, such a great movie, such great
cast.
performances, excellent direction, fairly strong script.
I would say it's Chris Nolan's
Yeah.
best movie, that and Memento for me. But a really rewatchable movie. Like
Yeah.
every time it's on HBO, I'm like,
You just get jazzed.
I'll just watch like 5 minutes of it, and then
It is
you're
fun
watching the whole thing.
watching all these other. Every time we do this, I'm like, I should watch this again, and it never. I always watch them every single time. Also, that burrito place that we went to in LA that had the review that said, "These burritos are so big, you'll need an Inception-sized kick to wake you up from your nap afterwards."
They were.
a
It was
hilarious
truth in
moment.
advertising.
So those are my top 6, and then my next 4 in no particular order are Empire Strikes Back.
Great choices.
Children of Men, which is the only time in the theater that I actually told someone to shut the fuck up. Because those guys were sitting next to us and they were super high and they were talking, and it was like the long ending scene, and I just went over and I was like, Jesus Christ! And they stopped talking. So then,
nice work.
Road Warrior and The Thing, 1982, not to be confused with the new Thing, which is not.
I didn't dislike the new Thing,
bad,
but then the original Thing is the classic.
But not all time, so not on my list anyway. So that will do it for our favorite sci-fi movies.
This has been the longest topic we've ever had. So now let's move on to the Adult Swim Facebook Top 5 Sci-Fi Movies. Your picks. Fifth Element, which is a great movie, but I'm surprised that was number 1. I really like it, but it's, there are so many different...
Kind of a Shenmue sort of sci-fi movie experience.
Akira, of course, Alien, Blade Runner, and Metropolis, which is probably the original sci-fi classic, the Fritz Lang black and white film from the 1920s, which is a stone-cold classic, and I love it. So excellent choices, Adult Swim Facebook.
And then the Toonami Facebook, which you can always reach us at facebook.com/Toonami, is...
Now these are weird compared, like, Galaxy Quest I would have thought would be on the Adult Swim Facebook.
I don't think I've ever seen the Q in our font before. That looks weird. I mean, I love Galaxy Quest as a movie,
too.
But top
There's
5...
a character named DeMarco in it, so I'm totally down.
We need your help.
Dune is a great movie, but not usually what many people would consider their favorite science fiction film. It is a great story, and I love the movie, but I'm shocked. And then The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is like, guys, that book was amazing. The show was pretty good.
The BBC radio plays are very entertaining.
The movie, though, not so
Not
much.
a bad airplane movie.
Not a bad airplane movie.
Not the best sci-fi movie of all time. Nice try, Toonami Facebook, but try
Thank
harder.
you for all of your votes and comments. We really appreciate it. And, of course, keep checking back to our Toonami Facebook page. We'll have a question of the week every week for you guys to comment on, and we'll talk about it on this show. And we promise not to make fun of you next week.
Too much.
So I think we can move into our sneak peek for this week.
This will air in Kai this coming Saturday, driving to next Saturday, the 4th of July, DBZ Marathon.
DBZ-a-thon.
Plus
one episode of
Attack on Titan, because sometimes these contracts are just really hard to make a full marathon happen. But be that as it may, this is a spot that Sarah cut and Jason wrote, and I think it turned out quite well.
Let's check it out.
This 4th of July, Toonami celebrates the birth of our great nation by running great shows from another one.
That kind of changes everything.
I'll show you how your might compares to that of a Saiyan!
This is just awesome!
The real fireworks. 6 episodes of DBZ Kai.
Oh, this is almost too good to be true!
Followed by a grand finale of Attack on Titan.
If you're too scared to fight for your lives, fine! Let me do it!
We can do this the easy way or the hard way. It's up to you.
Now that is some serious power.
It's the 4th of July DBZ-a-thon. Next Saturday night at midnight. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of only Toonami on Adult Swim.
So it's Kai midnight to 3, and then Attack on Titan from 3 to 3:30.
Just so people can get caught up on Kai. And for me, I'd rather stay home and watch a Kai marathon than go watch fireworks. I will be watching fireworks, but that's because I have no choice, because my family wants to.
But if you're watching fireworks at midnight, you're really pissing off your neighbors, so you should probably be doing a better job of it.
My favorite way to celebrate this country's birth is to stay at home and watch television.
Or to be out of the country entirely.
Like a good American. So moving on, we actually have a great fan promo this week. This is a tribute to Shinichiro Watanabe's work from a fellow named Tim Sullivan. He posted it to our Toonami Facebook because we asked for fan promo. We request fan promos every week. So this is a bit of a long music video set to Tank, the classic Cowboy Bebop opening song, but he has cut together scenes from all different Watanabe anime, and it really works well. I think it's a great music video and a great tribute to his work, and I thought it would make a cool fan promo for the week. So, good work, Tim. Let's show your tribute to Watanabe.
I think it's time to blow this thing. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
What'd you think, Gil?
That was pretty great.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Not necessarily a Toonami promo, but just something Toonami related. So great job, Tim. And as always, please feel free to keep sending us your versions of Toonami promos to our Toonami Facebook page or Toonami Tumblr. So that's Facebook.com/Toonami.
Yes, it is.
And Toonami.tumblr.com.
Well done.
Thank you. So our final thing today on this very long broadcast is a new episode of The Bloom Room. So Steve shared with us his Father's Day adventure. Check it out and we'll talk about it.
Several generations of blooms on
bunch of bloomins bloomin'. Check this out.
Regular bloomin' onion.
Hey, Bloom Room. I know it's fun to watch anime, play video games, but as you know, my favorite thing to do is to go outside. So this week is another episode of doing something outdoors. And this time, it's on the water. Join me, won't you? Hey, Bloom Room, welcome back. We're out on the Santa Monica Bay. It's Father's Day. I'm here with this chick.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
And this is my dad. Say hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
You guys can call him Bob. That's Mom.
Hi.
You can call her Mom. And this is my son, Jeremy. Hey. We're out whale watching. A couple of these guys have never done it before, so we're going to see if they can hold their chowder. In the meantime, enjoy. Okay, one down. So apparently this is called flyboarding. Must do this. And then we race dolphins. Yeah, they won. And finally, whales. Humpback whales, to be more specific. So guys, this is why you should go outside. Put down the controller, turn off the TV for a little while, go outside and see some of this stuff. That's a good day. That's it for this week's Bloom Room. Remember to spend some time outside with the people you care about. Like your dad. Yeah, like your dad. Peace.
And if you don't happen to live by the ocean, just watch a bunch of TV and play some video games.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve, don't tell me what to do. I want to hang out and play video games. I don't live in San Diego. It's pretty friggin' hot outside in Georgia.
Agreed.
But that looked like a lot of fun, I will say.
I would like to go whale watching and dolphin watching. Steve has not invited us on that.
No.
So.
I mean, he invited his family because it was Father's Day. He's kind of all of our father, really, but, you know.
It's true. Thanks, Steve. Papa Steve.
So join us. That's it for this broadcast. Join us next week. We'll have a new question of the week up for you guys on our Facebook page to comment on. Let us know what you thought about this episode. And we'll see you in a week.
And Saturday night, midnight. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.